Hey guys, I'm EJ here and this is Kendall, and today we'll be talking about the top big men in this upcoming NBA draft. This is really, Kendall, an exciting class because not only do we have the two top guards that we talked about in our earlier videos, breaking down Trae Young and Luka Doncic, but here we have a group of big men that all could be drafted in the top 10. There's about 5 guys that we'll be talking about, and today we're going to list our top 3 out of the 5 guys. And really, Kendall, this class is truly remarkable in terms of the talent at the top half.
Yeah, in terms of, remember years ago we talked about the depth of the big man. It was similar to the depth of the running back in football.
Right.
We've seen an influx of running backs into the NFL. I feel we're getting a new influx of big men into the NBA because you talk about Marvin Bagley from Duke, you talk about DeAndre Ayton out of Arizona, Wendell Carter Jr. at Duke, Jaren Jackson Jr. at Duke, and then also
Michigan State.
Michigan State rather,
right.
And then Mohamed Bamba out at Texas. So it's an extremely deep big man class, and all these guys are extremely talented. And there's a lot of mix in terms of where these guys could go, but they're all going to go in the top 10 more than likely. So I'm extremely excited to see these guys play in the next level.
And it should be interesting because we talk about an NBA where it seems like people are going smaller. So it's going to be curious to see how these NBA evaluators, analyze these players in terms of how much they value them and how high they're going to be willing to draft them. In a league that's going smaller, this is a draft that's heavy on big men. So I'll be curious to see not only how they evaluate these guys, but also how they integrate them in this new NBA. So that's going to be a lot to talk about. So we got Bamba, Wendell Carter, we got Bagley, we got Jackson, and we got Ayton. So a great class of players. Kendall, out of those 5 guys, who are your top 3, and rank them from 3 to 1 here?
Well, yeah, you talked about the modern NBA, EJ. I think that's a theme when it comes to big men nowadays. And for me, I started at number 3 with Jaren Jackson Jr. out of Michigan State, the freshman big man, who is probably the worst player right now in terms of like production and what he's done in college. But in terms of a guy that I think translates to the modern NBA, you're talking about a guy that's about 6'11". He's a physical freak, but he can shoot the outside shot, can guard probably 3 positions, can probably guard on the perimeter a little bit, and is a good rim protector and shot blocker. So, I kind of liken him to a Serge Ibaka type player, and that's kind of what he is now. I mean, I think he can come into the league and probably give you Serge Ibaka type production, and that doesn't account for his upside. Now, the problem, again, with Jaren Jackson Jr. is that I worry about his game now. And how ready he is to step in right away and come in and contribute. But at number 2, I have Marvin Bagley Jr., the guy, the big man out of Duke, who I think is the most productive out of all these guys in college right now. The guy can wake up and give you 20 and 10. If he tries even harder, he'll give you 30 and 20 if he needs to. The guy, the rebounding machine, he's ultra quick, moving around the paint. He's got to get stronger. Well, he doesn't look that strong, but he's deceptively strong because he's absolutely horsing these guys in college, and he's doing what he did in high school. The question with Bagley is how he translates to the next level skill-wise. The reason I like his fit in the modern NBA is because I feel like defensively he can switch on to guards. He can guard 4 and 5 positions, and he's quick enough. And one thing we always talk about, EJ, is that rebounding translates.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to be an elite rebounder from day one in the NBA. But at number 1, I've got DeAndre Ayton, the center out of Arizona, who, when I first watched it, I watched his first game. It was an exhibition against some Division II school. I watched the guy, and I'm like, this guy is David Robinson meets Greg Oden, meets Joel Embiid, meets any number 1 pick center that we've ever had in the NBA. I mean, he's those guys, but then you throw in a 3-point shot. Yeah. And that guy is something that we've almost never seen before. The problem with Ayton is his mental makeup. I don't know, his basketball IQ, doesn't seem to be the highest. And I feel like that's something you could work on as he gets a higher feel for the game. But his skills, his post game, his defensive potential, he's not a great defender right now, not a great rim protector right now, but given his size and his overall physical profile, he projects to be somebody you hope can get better at the defensive side of the ball. He kind of reminds me of DeMarcus Cousins in terms of his skill set, his strengths and weaknesses. So I have DeAndre Ayton number 1.
This is a tough one for me with these guys. I like all these guys. There's a great case for any of these guys being number 1, let alone 1 through 5. But if I'm going to start at number 3, I'm gonna start with Mohamed Bamba from Texas, and the fight in my head between Bamba and my number 2 guy was difficult, but I'm gonna stay with Bamba at 3. One thing I love about him is his ability to protect the rim, because we're in the NBA now where analytics show most teams now are going to be trying to get what, threes and dunks, or threes and layups, shots at the rim. Mid-range, long twos, those shots are kind of being phased out of the NBA. So with teams trying to torpedo themselves to the rim, I need a guy in the paint who I know is going to be able to protect the basket. And Bamba does it at a level that I have not seen since maybe Patrick Ewing. I mean, when I watch tape of Bamba and at Texas right now, he reminds me of a freshman Patrick Ewing goaltending shots against North Carolina in the national championship game in '81 or '82. He's that dominant a defensive player, and I think that his offensive game is even better than people give him credit for. His three-point shot is a little erratic, but he's got a nice stroke,
Flashes.
and he shows flashes of being able to hit that shot with range. So you're talking about a guy 7'2" with a 7'9" wingspan, 9'6" standing reach. These are kind of numbers you see from Rudy Gobert. And think about if a guy like Gobert could then also shoot threes. So he's great at running the floor. He's great at finishing at the rim, and he's an elite shot blocker. He reminds me again kind of like a Gobert, DeAndre Jordan type of player. I know his offensive game a little bit remedial, but I think that there's a lot of growth there. And for a guy who's a little light, I like that he plays with some dog. I like that he is able to throw his body in there, and he likes to try to finish strong when he gets in there. So that, I think, is something that I truly think that Bamba's going to be able to improve on. At number 2, we're going to agree, and I'm going to go Bagley. And I was trying to find a way to get myself to put Bamba at 2 over Bagley. I almost did. But the reason why I didn't put Bagley at, reason why I considered Bagley at 3 was because everything he said was great. The guy's production, especially at his age, considering that at this time he thought he was playing high school basketball, is remarkable. The only thing about Bagley is he's not really giving me much defensively, because even though he's at 6'11", he's not really going to block any shots. He's not really going to protect the rim. And he moves his feet well on the perimeter, but I don't look at him ever as being a difference maker defensively. So that worries me a little bit. I also think for a guy who, even though he shoots a little better than Bamba, I think Bamba in the NBA is going to be a better shooter than Marvin Bagley is. I don't care what the numbers say right now, just in terms of stroke and how it looks, right, in mechanics. However, when you look at Marvin Bagley's production, and you talked about his rebounding, for a guy as light as he is, he plays so hard. And it's so rare. When you have a guy who's all-world, one of the best players in the country, a lot of those guys, they take plays off. They don't really play that hard. I mean, he plays out there like every game is Game 7. The way he throws himself around the rim, the way he runs at the rebounds and finishes so aggressively. I love that he plays with that kind of dog and that kind of intensity. I feel like he's one of those guys where I'd be surprised if he failed in any way. I just think that he's one of those guys that finds himself into being a successful player in the NBA. The only problem is, again, I don't know the versatility. I don't think he can play 5 because he doesn't protect the rim, so I think he's stuck at 4. He'll give you the numbers, but it's just a matter of what else does he do besides score and rebound. So then that leads me to my number 1 guy, and that's DeAndre Ayton, who I do feel like is a step above all of these guys.
Really?
Because, yes, I do. I think that if I'm looking at all these guys and they're all great, I think Wendell Carter is great. I think that Jaren Jackson could be a dynamo defensively. But what I love about Ayton is Ayton kind of does all the things I talked about. He can shoot a little bit, not the range that the other 2 guys have, but he can shoot from 15 to 18 feet.
I think he's probably the most consistent in terms of the shooting.
Yes, and he's very consistent from that 15, 18-foot range. And I think of all the guys, I feel like he reminds me of the most alpha. Like when he gets the ball in the paint, I feel like he knows it's time to go to work, and he knows that his team needs him to dominate. And that's what we've seen with these ridiculous numbers that he's put up over the course of the season. 30 and 15 and 27 and 15 and the crazy numbers that he's been able to put together. So I think that Ayton and his production, I think that you look at his defense, while that might be a little bit of a weakness, I think that throughout the season we've seen that improve, and I think he does have the profile to be a better shot blocker and defender. So when I look at DeAndre Ayton, I think he's a total package offensively. That's why I have him as my number 1 guy.
Yeah, I mean, Bagley's another guy I think has that alpha gene that, some of these other guys lack. Couldn't put Wendell Carter because I felt he didn't translate as well as some of these other guys, but he's another guy I really like. And for me, Bamba I liked, but he has bust potential for me.
He does.
There's a chance that he can kind of just be ordinary. He could be, I don't say Hasheem Thabit, because I think he's better than that guy, but he could be kind of just a normal NBA center. But all these guys are terrific prospects, and I think you will find 3 or 4 of these guys in the top 5 or 6 in this draft.
Yeah, these guys will have no problem getting drafted very high and making a lot of money throughout their careers. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this video. Let us know what you guys think the ranking should be for the big men in this upcoming draft. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and watch all of our videos here at New Generation Media. But for Kendall, I'm EJ. Peace.